2 years, Maniacs. 2 years, basically, since Halloween Ends came out, the final movie in David Gordon Green's trilogy. The reason why we're mentioning it now is because not only has it been like basically 2 years since the movie was released, but David Gordon Green made some more comments about the movie. So the first time I talked about this, because the movie got a lot of backlash. That's the whole thing. The movie got so much backlash the second it was released, and David Gordon Green came out with a statement saying that he was never intending to make a Michael Myers-Laurie Strode film. And, well, that's not what the trailer suggested. All the trailers and the marketing suggested we were going to get the final conclusion to Laurie Strode and Michael Myers' vendetta, their story, their rivalry, or whatever you want to view it as. And we thought Halloween Kills built it up in a very interesting and dark and intense, exciting way. And then Halloween Ends comes out and basically pisses the world off. So he comes out with another statement. We're going to dive into this, guys. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. If you want me to continue these horror movie topics, you guys have been killing it with the likes lately. Get this video up over 150 likes, and I will continue to talk about these kind of things when they come out, because I myself am a horror fanatic. Big time. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Let's go ahead and dive into it. David Gordon Green knows he cheated the audience with Halloween Ends. I don't think they were on the journey I was excited about taking. And we got a picture of Corey Cunningham right there. Yeah, the opening of that movie was nuts. Halloween Ends was an odd place to leave the franchise, going on 50 that John Carpenter patented and invariably perfected. This point is especially glaring when you consider that Blumhouse gave a first-timer to horror in David Gordon Green and keys for rebooting the series. It's fair to say, on top of that, Blumhouse got ahead of themselves when they allowed Green to make a trilogy with complete creative freedom. The decision resulted in an arc that wasn't tightly woven enough to end like a real trilogy in most eyes, which I can understand that. But also, you got to keep in mind too that I think having the creative freedom to do what you need to do and do what you want to leave your own stamp on a franchise is also important. I don't think the studio should have involved themselves, because we know what happens when a studio involves themselves too much, right? So I think, like, for example, where the new Star Wars trilogy went, right? I think the studio started involving themselves. They wanted to satisfy the fans, so they started putting their hands in it, saying we got to do this, that, and this. And at the end of the day, you know, Return of the Skywalker might be the worst of the new trilogy, because they completely wanted to play it safe at that point. And I think that could have happened with the Halloween trilogy. They didn't play it safe. They went and took risks, which I actually respect for that. Say what you will about the new Halloween trilogy. I respect the fact that they try to do something different. They try to do something different with Halloween Ends. Halloween Kills, I like Halloween Kills. I'd actually say I'd give it like a 7.7 out of 10. I enjoyed it that much. I really do. I like it a lot. Halloween 2018, in my opinion, is one of the best in the franchise. Halloween Ends, of course, I thought it was fine. I thought it was good. It was a good movie, not a great Halloween movie. I'd give it like maybe a 6 point something out of 10 if I had to guess. I enjoyed it for what it was. The performances were great. I thought when Myers was on screen and he actually was able to do what Myers does, he was awesome. But then they kind of, really kind of threw him under the rug a little bit, which is one of my problems. But I don't think David Gordon Green was a bad pick to do a trilogy. I just think something went wrong here. I think something happened in the creative standpoints. I think too many people started talking and coming up with a lot of ideas and trying to give it more of a meaning than what it really needed. I think Halloween Kills built Myers up in all the right ways and was actually going in on what everybody was excited about. Everybody wanted to see Myers at his supernatural state, like where he was unstoppable. And then when Halloween Ends came around, they did not give you that. You're building this movie up to be the final showdown between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers, and then when you get the movie and it's not that at all, you're kind of left disappointed. I know a lot of people who were so excited to see Halloween Ends. Even after they hated Halloween Kills, they were so excited. And then for that movie to kind of just water everything down and just try to tell more of a drama than a slasher film. It was more of a drama. I think that bothered a lot of people. They were so excited for the Halloween season because this was coming out, and they wanted that slasher film. They wanted a really good slasher movie, and you just don't get that. You don't get that. You get some cool kills in some cases, and it feels like a Stephen King. It actually kind of feels like a Stephen King movie when I look back on it. Like a lot of inspirations, I feel like from like Christine and stuff in that movie. But unfortunately, this was the final movie in a trilogy, where I think is where it falls flat for a lot of people. This was supposed to be the conclusion of the great Michael Myers, The Shape, from the original 1978 film. This is where his character's arc was going to end. And I don't think people wanted that. I genuinely think that if people, I'll tell you right now, this is how I would have ended the last movie. I would have ended it with Laurie Strode dying. The entire Strode family getting wiped out. Hell, I would have actually ended it with the entirety of Haddonfield getting wiped out by Myers. And then him maybe moving on to do something else. Like him go to another town or something. That's how I would have ended it. And then it would have given it would have given other directors who want to come in and try to put their own stamp on the franchise to do something unique with it, right? And do their own thing. I would have ended my trilogy, if I were to have a hand in the Halloween franchise, by ending the Haddonfield stuff. So now he's going beyond Haddonfield, and I think a lot of people were excited about that concept. And again, Halloween Kills built Myers up to be this force of nature. It was like when the movie ended, you're like, oh my god, he's becoming supernatural. He's going to be invincible. And then Halloween Ends comes out, and he gets his ass kicked by a teenager. Yeah, you see the problem there. He took on a fucking mob. You go from taking on an angry, murderous mob, beaten the shit out of, shot repeatedly, get back up, and take everyone down. And then for him to reappear in a house like there was no explanation, just for the third movie to basically say that, oh, he's just a man. As you see with the Halloween movies, the choices I make aren't always the most popular ones. Green admitted in the IndieWire interview. So it's trying to make something that me and my great friends at Blumhouse and Morgan Creek want for that property to be fulfilled, as much as the audience is there and as has the appetite for it. So they wanted to do their own thing. They wanted to put their own stamp on the franchise. They wanted to end it in the way they wanted the franchise to end, which not always is the greatest thing, right? So, but in the end, I don't think they were on the journey I was excited about taking, he said. I think they were. I don't think it's a matter of being excited. I think everybody was excited about this journey. It just, you dropped it. That's the problem. You dropped it. And I don't know if that was your intentions, but you did. You started this trilogy out with Laurie Strode freaking out. She's traumatized about Myers. She's going on a killing spree, you know, the theories and stuff. I'm glad you didn't go down that typical route where you just kind of give people what people want, you know, it's fan service and whatnot. But you also kind of, you raised hopes in Halloween Kills. And 2018 Halloween Kills raised so many hopes, especially Kills, you know, going back to what I was talking about, how this felt like Myers at his most evil. He was, you know, transcending into something more, as like Laurie Strode said, the more he kills, the more he transcends. That's what we thought was going to happen. And then years pass, and everybody forgot about it, and now everybody's just kind of doing their own thing. And now a new guy comes up, and the Strode family gets pushed to the side for the most part. It was very weird. It was a very weird way to take the trilogy. It wasn't even a franchise. It was a weird place to take the trilogy that you had just started, because now it felt like Halloween 2018 all over again. It felt like, oh, are we watching a new trilogy? The beginning of a new trilogy? It wasn't even like, oh, we're watching the end of a trilogy. No, is this like the beginning of something new? And then your ending to that movie felt like everything now was half-assed, and everything was rushed, forced, and we had to do it because the trailers said we had to do it, right? The trailers implied that this was going to be the final showdown between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers, and when it finally came to the end, you're like, okay, yeah, we forgot about that. We need to go ahead and end that right now. Yeah. So I think everybody was excited about the journey you were making. It's just you ended the journey by just starting another journey. That's what happened. You ended the one journey to start another journey. And at that point, it just kind of fell flat. Let's see. I don't think said the reason that they weren't, according to most of the introduction of a new character, Corey Cunningham, who was supposed to carry the film. And I think Corey carried the movie fine. Corey's not really the problem I had. I think Corey would have been is a great character. Again, I think what you should have done for Corey Cunningham, instead of introducing him in the third movie, you could have introduced him in 2018. Maybe low-key he was like the shy kid of the class who had a crush on Allison but never wanted to really say anything. Or you could have done something like that. Maybe at the dance scene, you actually have him like slowly kind of interested in Allison, and maybe they're talking and whatnot, maybe having a really good conversation. And then the douchebag boyfriend comes back in and kind of drags her away, and, you know, he has a moment of looking sad and everything, and maybe leaves slivers of hints of maybe his more psychotic side. But that would have been a good way to introduce him. And then maybe in Halloween Kills, when the boyfriend is killed, I can't remember the boyfriend's name for the life of me, but he kind of redeems himself in Halloween Kills. And maybe when he gets killed by Myers, you could have had Corey run in there, grab Allison when what's her name, the mom, comes in and leads Myers out of the house by taking his mask. You could have had him come in there, pick up Allison, and maybe take her to the hospital, right? That would have been a cool way to kind of put him more in the story. But you didn't do that. You just kind of introduced this guy at the last minute, and then we're supposed to just accept that he's the new Myers, and then to just kill him again, just to kill Corey. It wasn't a good decision in my mind. It wasn't a good idea. All right. Actor Rowan Campbell was tasked with winning over moviegoers and the fans, but try as he might, that didn't happen overall, despite his level best. Most everyone was dismayed, and that he essentially replaced Michael Myers for 2 hours and was able to treat the unkillable godfather of slashers like a chump and take his mask. Yep, nobody was happy about that. You build Myers up to be this invincible killing machine, mob destroyer. And in the third movie, he gets his ass kicked. Like nothing. Like nothing. He gets his ass kicked. That Cunningham was dispatched so swiftly. Yep, at the climax. They build him up. They have Corey kick his ass, take the mask. If Corey actually, I'm going to tell you right now, if Corey actually killed Myers in the sewers, like it was actually a cool fight, and he actually murders Myers in a brutal fashion, and then maybe he's about to leave the cave or that sewer, right? And he has Myers' mask in his hand, and maybe he stops. And you just see him kind of like shaking, and he falls over, and maybe giving the idea that Myers has now, like, they fulfilled this kind of, this ritual or something, that Myers can now possess his body because he killed the previous host. And maybe the evil that was in Myers goes slowly over to Corey, and he becomes the new Myers, or the new shape, right? And that would have been an interesting way to take it. But it's literally, he beats him up, he throws him on the ground, he takes the mask, he crawls out, Myers comes back, he's like, give me my mask back, and he kills Corey, and he puts the mask on, and then he gets his ass killed by Laurie Strode. And it was almost all pointless at that point. There was nothing that added anything. It was just, oh, well, that was something. That's a hell of a night, right? A lot happened. But they don't go anywhere with it. It just kind of ends. And there's no way the shape is going to come back now. And since Corey's dead, there's no way Corey's going to come back now. So what was the point of all of it? Was the entire trilogy just to, like, lead up to Laurie having her happy ending with her and the deputy sitting on her porch smiling at each other? Hawkins, I think, is his name. I can't remember. I thought it was like Hawks or something. But yeah, was that the entire purpose of your trilogy? Was just to kind of, like, I mean, they had the balls to end the trilogy, which is also like a big thumbs up. They had the balls to do it. They had the balls to actually get rid of Myers. But again, the story, the way they just do all the characters, the characters that we've kind of grown to kind of appreciate after the last two movies, to the side, just for Corey. And it wasn't good. And it's not the actor's fault. The actor did a great job playing Corey. I don't think anybody should blame that the actor. It was just the decision to kind of make him put him at the forefront instead of building him up more with the previous two movies. That, I think, is the problem here. All right. After so much build and baby facing of the kid didn't help matters. Consequently, what was supposed to be the last showdown between old foes, Laurie Strode and Michael, felt forced and less special. Unfortunately, it did, because in Halloween 2018, there is a phenomenal fight scene between Laurie and Michael. A phenomenal one that could have been the end of Myers, and it probably would have been more satisfying. Like that trap, the house blowing up, that would have been a better ending for Myers. But in this one, you're just a man who's gonna bleed out. And she slits his throat, slits his wrists, and yeah, he just kind of bleeds out slowly. And then they throw him into a grinder, which was crazy, because I was like, oh wow, they actually did that. But yeah. But again, I don't think it had anything to do with that. It had nothing to do with nobody being excited about the journey. Again, everybody was really pumped. I was pumped. I was excited as all hell. More Halloween movies. Fuck yeah, but you're talking about ending the trilogy and then completely doing nothing really with it. Like you could have done something. And maybe he was, And maybe that's what his point was. He wanted to end the trilogy, right? He just wanted to end it. But I think because this franchise is so beloved, it was underwhelming. It's like you had the balls to end it, but was that really a satisfying way to end it? I don't think it was. I don't think you should bring this franchise back just to end it on a low note, a very small note. Honestly, you could have just came out with Halloween 2018 and ended there with Myers dying, and that would have been a better ending to this franchise than what you did with Halloween Ends. Yeah, I like Halloween Ends, but I don't like it as the finale for the Halloween franchise. I literally think Halloween H2O is a more satisfying ending to the character of Myers, even knowing it was not Myers. It would have been a more satisfying ending than what they did with Halloween Ends, where he just slits his throat, takes his mask off, slits his wrist. Like, imagine if she didn't even take off his mask. Like, that was the whole point. She took off the mask because it was nothing more than a guy behind a mask. So Myers has now been reduced down to just nothing more than a guy. Yeah, one of the most beloved icons in horror movie history. You're just a man. Takes his mask off like a bitch, slits his neck, slits his wrist, and lets him bleed out slowly. He doesn't even fight. He just lays there and takes it. It's like he did that so much in that last movie. He did that so much. He just lays there and basically gets the shit kicked out of him the entire time. After he did the unthinkable in Halloween Kills. It just doesn't add up. I know he was supposed to be wounded because of the wounds of his... But, yeah. Anyways, Halloween Ends. It's a fine movie. I do think when he says that people weren't excited, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think everybody was. And that's why the backlash was so much stronger. I think people criticized the movie so much more because they were ready for this final movie and then you just kind of dropped it. That's why I think it got so much backlash. So, no, not everybody was ready for that. I wasn't ready for the Halloween Ends movie. So it is what it is. Guys, let me know in the comment section. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in your own personal opinions. What did you think of Halloween Ends? What did you think of David Gordon Green's trilogy overall? Let me know. I'll see you in the next one. If you want to see more movie talk kind of videos, then definitely make sure you get this video at least over 100 likes. And I will continue sitting down and talking about horror movie discussions because I do love horror films. I think they're fun, and I would love to do more of them. And by the way, I just released Nightmare on Elm Street 2, the movie revisit over on Patreon and members. So if you guys want to watch that, go down below, hit the join button, and join us on that. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Please do. Take care.
If you caught a chance, 3 cards, through, you won't be meant dead.